Here. Hey, yo. Hello. Here. What's up, chat? Happy Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. We got some NBA on the docket tonight. I love it. What a beautiful day. A little bit of Yankees baseball this morning, all right? They don't give you too much, but they give you a little bit, letting you know what it's going to be like in a month, right? A little baseball, a little basketball, lots of DFS. I'm excited. It's warming up. It's a good time. Need a bear COVID mask? I might be a little late to that market. Ay. I think I didn't look into it, but I think the state that I live in lifted mask restrictions, and I'm just like, what? Wait, it's like, what? We can do that? I could be wrong. Like, I didn't read into it, but I'm pretty sure I peeked at Facebook and people were like making a stink about the mask restrictions being off. But I think I'll hang on to my mask for a little bit. What's up, chat? What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We have 6 games of NBA basketball on the DFS docket tonight. Should be a fun one. A lot of hard to read pre-flop games, but hopefully we'll swim around a little bit, dive a little deeper, and come away with some plays, man. What's up, Dez? What up, Paul? 100% PJ Washington yesterday. PJ went from Chris Bosh to PJ Washington. Oh, man. What's up, Adam? Y'all doing all right? What's up, Pete? Had one line of my PJ bad knee, yelled at me trapping. I had 100% Claxton. Nice. Yeah, PJ did PJ things. I think PJ and Terry Rozier can't coincide, apparently. What's up, E? Made it happen. What bang am I drinking today? You already know, man. We're mostly a one flavor guy, black cherry vanilla. But maybe I'll get a little smorgasbord sampler of different bangs and spread my wings and fly a little bit. But I love the bang. Anytime I've tried a bang that wasn't black cherry vanilla, it's usually because they don't have any other flavor at the gas station. So I've ended up with Blue Raz a little bit. I've grown a little taste for that. They had that Star Blast and another one. There was like 2 that were initially released via like military bases only, and our buddy Shady hooked me up with a couple cans of those. They were alright, but black cherry vanilla, man, it just gets it done for me. But I definitely wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be opposed to trying some other stuff that did sound wild. I did one time order black cherry vanilla bang on Instacart, and that's how I do all my shopping, my grocery shopping. And sometimes on Instacart, when they don't have an item that you want, they take it upon themselves to replace the item with a similar item. So instead of black cherry vanilla, the lady got me cherry blade lemonade or something. But the can didn't look too unsimilar if you're a mid-30s boomer. And you just, you put them in the fridge, you didn't pay attention, you're dark, you're groggy, whatever. And you grab the bang, you go sit down, you pop it. What the? It was not the same. And maybe that initial, it's like you ever drink a sweet tea thinking it's a Coke or vice versa. It's just, I didn't dig it. So maybe if I gave it another shot, but I accidentally drank one of those and wasn't a fan. What's up, Darius? Had Jokic and Claxton in the same line. 2 lines, only got 2x. Oof. Thank you, Gunn and Mr. 100K Miller, for getting me to think pivots and game theory. Pivots and game theory. I think that's the edge right now. Or not right now. I think that'll be the edge forever. Look at so the easiest, most simplistic way to run pivots in game theory is who's projected to score X amount of points. How high owned is he projected to be? Who else at that similar price range is projected a similar amount of fantasy points? And how owned is he going to be? And then you could grab the ownership leverage and hope that the high-owned P.J. Washington bust, but then like a Carmelo Anthony drops 50, right? Governor Abbott lifted the mask mandate, ends March 10th. That's what it was. So Texas, we just gonna be we're walking around here without masks, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a strong conglomerate, including myself, that we just keep wearing masks, right? What's up, Russ? Russ in the chat. Yo, chat. If are you playing today? If Russ is playing today, we might as well end the show because he's not leaving money for the rest of us. Dude's on such a ridiculous heater right now in every sport. Like, he's posting NASCAR, tennis, parlays, 100Ks on DraftKings. Like, goodness gracious, bro. Or at least let us know what contest we can have. Will you leave the quarter arcade to us plebs? Nothing Saturday and get a bad flavor. Yeah, I should have asked for a refund gun. Yo, sometimes Instacarts are weird, bro. One time during the ice storm, and I tweeted it out. Maybe I still can find that screenshot. We had this. You guys probably saw it on the news a couple weeks back, 2-3 weeks ago. We had this ridiculous ice storm, and the whole state shut down. And the shelves of these local grocery stores, they look like hurricane ravaged area, and we were strapping for food. It was empty shelves. Water cards. So I went to go place an order, and I said DoorDash in this tweet, but I went to go place an order for water, and it says this item is running low. Approve of replacement just in case. And one of the recommended replacements was bicycle playing cards. And not one, that was the only replacement suggested. So sometimes their replacement algorithm is just not something I understand. Because clearly, if I'm stranded without food and water, if we don't have water, I guess I'll take some playing cards and I'll solitaire my way from forgetting how thirsty and hungry I am. I don't know. Chat, last night was pretty wild, right? Do I have yesterday's scores up? James Harden, 80 fantasy points, 11K, 44 minutes, 30, 14, 15, his stat line. That's what you want. Nikola Jokic, 77 DKP. Nikola Vucevic, 62.75. Let's go game by game here. Denver, Chicago, there's really no surprises here. Maybe we thought a little bit more out of Jamal Murray, 33 and 36 minutes. But MPJ and Jokic led the Nuggets in relevancy. Levine and Kobe White. Kobe White is probably the main guy you probably would have got to from the Chicago Bulls. The Cavs beat the Rockets. Talked about how I did not think the Cavs should be underdogs, and they covered it easily. John Wall put up 46. Colin Sexton with 39 real points, dropped 57.75. Jared Allen definitely underwhelmed for me. Utah and the Pelicans put up a whole lot of real points. Lonzo Ball shot 9 for 16, 23, 7, and 8. Zion with a 46. Dallas and Orlando, I think this was the most stunning game for me in terms of score and fantasy production. Luka and Porzingis, they coincided for 100. Maxey Kleber, Jalen Brunson, also great plays. And then we knew if the Magic were going to compete, it would be Nikola Vucevic, and he would have to have a great game, and he did. 62.75. Fournier, MC Dub. MC Dub, I had no MC Dub, and he had a massive game for fantasy there. Indiana and the Sixers. Sixers game, this is probably the game that messed me up the most yesterday. There was a quote before the game that Doc Rivers said that Joel Embiid was very questionable. Joel Embiid is very questionable. I don't know if he's going to go. So we all just assumed that was doubtful. And for a good 30 minutes, I just planned on playing a bunch of Dwight Howard and Shake Milton. And then we got probably inside the 15-minute window before lock, and Embiid starts. And then I'm thinking, well, now no one's going to play Embiid. And we already know his history without Tobias Harris is just a sea of 50s and 60s. And then we know his history against Miles Turner sends him child support payments, invoices. So I was like, let's just play Embiid. So I said, F it. They go after the Low Embiid, try to play a little of that game theory stuff, and the Sixers just mollywop the Pacers. So Embiid only gets 27 minutes instead of like 34. Does drop 50 in that 27. Like, he was on pace to being the greatest play on the slate. But yeah, I still stuck with Shake Milton. But it is what it is on that one. That was just unfortunate where game theory leverage just didn't go my way because of a blowout. Then the Portland and the Charlotte Hornets. Carmelo Anthony, the biggest surprise in this one. 29 real points, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. He has 7 stocks. That's 21 FanDuel points. And then Russ was one of the catalysts in the live chat yesterday, talking about how Rocco's getting some backup center minutes. Gets 10 rebounds, 20-plus real points to boot. Big triple stack from Lillard, Carmelo, and Rocco if you had that. And if you had the Cajones on the late slate to maybe stay away from P.J. Washington. Like, I don't know how you don't play P.J. Washington on, like, the late slate because he was one of the highest owned main slate guys. But 30 minutes for PJ, 3 rebounds, and 3 real points the night after a 40 real point explosion. And then Nets and the Spurs. DeRozan, 46, Lonnie Walker, 38. Dejounte Murray had a really slow start. Ended up salvaging from what he was working on in Jakob Poeltl, 37. Then Harden and Kyrie, again, the handcuff that just keeps on giving over 100 fantasy points. And DeAndre Jordan, a solid play here. So was Nick Claxton, 3,100. So if you guys had some of that, congrats. That was last night in the NBA DFS. And if you didn't come out on the right side of money, hey, there's always tomorrow, and tomorrow is today. What's up, Damien? Yo, what up, Gun? My best line yesterday was a 330, even that bath turd LaMarcus Aldridge, Melo Ball, Lillard, Rozier, Ross, Valentine, Holiday, Patrick Williams, LMA, and Jokic. Yeah, Carmelo versus LaMelo. Carmelo said that he would let LaMelo be called Melo. He's going to be around for a lot longer. Yeah, I do Instacart sometimes. What's up, Ian King Sosa? Yeah, Instacart. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big lazy bear, so I'll keep doing Instacart. I've been having some DoorDash problems lately too, but I'm just keep doing them. I'm not trying to go out there in the sea of the Rona. I'm just kidding. I do Instacart. I got customers that won't substitute Seagram's ginger ale for Canada Dry ginger ale because she was allergic. Dang. Yeah, usually I don't care about the substitution. Sometimes I order from Walmart Plus, and they just straight up don't do substitution. And it messes me up because a lot of times when I want to order Walmart, it's like something that I want today and I can't do in 2 days off of like Amazon Prime. Like, I don't know. I was trying to surprise my old lady a couple weeks back and get her like bubble bath and all that stuff. And they didn't have it. And they were just like, we don't have this particular brand you tried to order, so you don't want anything. Boom. Here's this other filler crap that you ordered just so you could have this order in. And I was like, well, now I have a pair of boots I'll never wear. These NBA players are so weird, no type of consistency. It is what it is. It sucks. PJ definitely had, like, I mean, that's below a floor game. That was unreal bad. But that is hashtag DFS. We have a saying. Another hashtag DFS. PrizePicks had Embiid's line at like 50. Whatever it was. My boy Rich was betting the over on the Embiid line, and it missed by 0.9 of a fantasy point because of the blowout. Like, sometimes there's some really, really bad beats in DFS or in gambling, and you just want to start believing conspiracy theories that Vegas is specifically out to get you individually. And PJ Washington might be one of those categorized plays. What up, Ben Snapping? Cash and plan on cash tonight. Let's go. Who's going to be the guy who ruins the lineups tonight? I don't know. Might be some of this Spurs stuff. We got a Top Shot notification. What's this about? Okay, that's upside down. We were just hours away from Cook. Oh, yeah, challenge is ending out. It could be from paralysis. Yeah. All right, let's get Raj in the mix.
Yo.
How we doing?
Not so great after last night. Too much Joel Embiid. Which he was fine, but everyone went off, so it was annoying.
Yeah, it was that's what I said with all those 10K pluses. Like they all project as great plays, but like it wasn't Embiid's fault. Right? It was Embiid's fault, but it wasn't his fault. Like they just
he would have outscored Jokic. It was a close game. He had 50 after 3. That game was close. I think he would have dropped a 70 bomb too.
Mm-hmm. I do concur.
The overtime game in San Antonio. I mean, that was weird because DeJounte Murray still didn't kind of get there, so that was annoying. But what can you do?
Chat may not be aware of this, but you and Chronic are doing a best of 10 head-to-head series. What's the score after last night?
5-3, him, Chronic.
5-3, so he clinches.
I tie it up, and then we'd have.
You can tie it, it would go to extra innings. So you have to win out.
I have to win out. I gotta win out from now on. He went Harden and he had a Harden and I think look he had like two he had Harden and Bogdan, which are my 2v2, and I had
Bojan. Bojan, Chet.
Bojan. Sorry, Bojan. And he had his 50 bomb game too. 15 or 50.
You know what's funny is right at lock. What do we say? I say, well, you're getting 15 or 50, and he got 50.
Yep.
Well,
that game was closer than expected and higher scoring.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. On to today.
On to today. The Memphis Grizzlies and the Washington Wizards going to start the party with a 237.5 total. Does that do anything for you? Projected starting 5 for the Grizzlies. John Morant, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game. How'd they get tickets? And Jonas Valanciunas taking on Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Garrison Matthews, Rui Hachimura, and Mo Wagner. High total. Wizards bringing one of the fastest paces in basketball, one of the worst defenses. Grizzlies' defensive rating isn't fantastic either. So this should be a pace-up spot. We don't have a high predictive value in minutes for the Grizzlies in terms of there's not a ton of guys that we project day-to-day to play over 30 minutes. John Morant, I got leading the team in minutes. Dylan Brooks, number 2. Dylan Brooks is kind of a wide range of outcome type of player, dependent on his shots falling. And then Jonas Valanciunas, I think a lot of people are going to be sour on J-Val from that last game, he had like 4 or 5 fouls in 12 minutes. It was not what you want. But this is an ultimate bounce back spot, man. Centers against the Wizards right now are just scooping up massive fantasy point day. So I definitely, if I'm drawing a pencil of my favorite plays and like correlation plays, I could see some Morant, J-Val handcuffs. Per minute, I could chip and cherry Kyle Anderson at 28 minutes to get 30 plus. Dylan Brooks is a shot dependent. Desmond Bane, shot dependent guys, but they would be in the mix. Justice Winslow just came off of a tournament worthy performance in terms of being an extreme value play. So maybe I can re-roll him in a Super Plus matchup. They're working on his minutes. He's over 20 minutes in really every game thus far. In that last game against Houston, 20 real points. So a volatile value play, but a value play nonetheless, considering the matchup, considering the score. And then on the bench here, there's a couple of like stocking stuffers. I definitely think the obscure Grizzly player that goes off is going to be important tonight in the 6-game slate, right? It seems like a lot of these guys make sense, but it's going to be just like one do great and the other one suck. Is what it feels like either Payne or Brooks. It doesn't feel like both. On the Wizards side, Russell Westbrook, 9.6 on FanDuel seems a little bit too cheap for the opportunity cost of him to continue to drop 50-plus fantasy points. Appropriate price on DK. Bradley Beal's on the south side of 10K on DraftKings. He's coming off a 40-plus real point loss. Water is not wet. It's just a myth. But the rest of the Wizards, I really don't get to. Every now and then, you can sell me on some obscure tournament shots on like a Davis Bertans. I don't really have an infatuation with playing Rui Hachimura or anybody like that. But on a shorter slate, maybe I circle back and have to put some of these guys at tier 3, fill a lineup. But I'm thinking Beal, Westbrook, J-Val, John Morant are the guys we need to make strong decisions on early on. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, off the top, you think John Morant.
I do want to say that Kyle Anderson's at least questionable, so we could play with the thought that if he was out, maybe Brandon Clark starts, maybe Justice Winslow gets a little bit more responsibility, something like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, off the top, John Morant, in his handcuff, combined 14K on FanDuel. I mean, both guys, those guys can get you, 50 plus. Wouldn't be shocked there at piece. So give me those two. I think Justice Winslow is probably going to be a really popular value play. Both sides, 4,400 on FanDuel. Even in 20 minutes against Washington, he can get there. He just does a little bit of everything: points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. Give me some of him. You mentioned Dylan Brooks. I mean, if his shots going in, he'll win you the slate. I mean, I don't want to say he's exactly like Bojan or Bogdan. Sorry.
No, he's definitely not. He's more like a Joe Harris.
Yeah, Joe Harris, maybe Tim Hardaway. The shots going in. It's going. This is the spot though, right? I mean, past 3 games.
Yeah, big matchup against the Wizards for sure.
Yeah, so this is the matchup. This is the spot where you can have an upside game. So I think you'd have him in the pool, but obviously not a comfortable click. But I mean, Brandon Clark, I think he played. He didn't even play extended minutes. Last game he played 20 minutes, and that was with J-Val getting a foul trouble.
I believe it might have been a lopsided game where Houston got tanked.
Oh, that was the blowout game. Okay, so that explains, I guess, the 20 minutes there. Brandon Clark, he's in the pool. I mean, you kind of want everyone in Memphis. Just all these guys get minutes. A couple of those guys are going to pop off in this matchup, so just sprinkle them in there. Probably no more than 3 in each lineup. And the Washington side, same old Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. I'm going to stay away from the peripheral guys.
Yeah, so the fourth quarter of the last game where the game got really, really out of hand, it was Tilly, Gorgie Sang, John Concher, D'Anthony Melton, Desmond Bain in the closing minutes. So a lot of the guys like Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark was really on pace to get decent minutes. I think what did we say? He had 20 minutes in 3 quarters, so maybe he gets 25 minutes in a good spot. And then J-Val. If J-Val stays out of foul trouble, maybe he gets in this matchup. J-Val might not need but 25 minutes to really, really make an impact. So I'm willing to forgive and forget J-Val's foul troubles last game. I just think it's a really, really good spot. I think Kyle Anderson is the key here. If Kyle Anderson does miss this game, he's got an illness. It's not COVID related. If he does miss, Brandon Clark probably draws a start, which might give us a little deeper minute projections for Clark and J-Val. It might introduce a guy like Gorgie Zhang into some of the deep field tournaments. I still think you can get away with going a little bit smaller if you had to anyway. Stretch out Justice Winslow's minutes just a little bit more. I think Winslow's going to be a solid play no matter what. But like you said, if Kyle Anderson's out, Winslow might gravitate towards one of the highest owned players on the slate. And that's like, I'm cool with it. It's the matchup, but he's definitely a little bit more volatile than people want to give him credit for. You know what they used to say: if you play justice, you'll keep your wins low.
Talk about it.
Beal, Westbrook, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm gonna have some of both. Beal, I know he's 10K plus, but you saw last game. I mean, this is a game. 40 real life points again. Wouldn't be shocked. And Westbrook triple double threat, playing them together too. Been getting it done in a lot of tournaments, so I'm not going to shy away from that. Game set this game: John Morant, J-Val, Winslow. Bring it back with some Beal or Westbrook.
Ben Sam says, I don't know how these MFers get 400 fantasy points. I've gotten 385, 390. I've had a few 400 pluses. I've actually had a few 400 plus fantasy point nights, and I did not win a tournament with the. Like, I had a 409 one year and finished like 8th or something. We've had some wild slates. Solo says, this is the game right here. Encore, what's up, Encore? Personally fading job. My lineup, if the ownership keeps up. Bain and Winslow, high ownership for value. Yeah, I still think there is a range of outcome where the Grizzlies' minute rotation and is just very, very diluted, spread out. If Anderson was in, like, there's a case that everyone gets 30 minutes. Maybe Morant bleeds over that.
John Morant has probably been the worst chalk of the year. John Morant has some really bad letdown games. I think he's been probably the worst chalky guy this year. It's not even his fault. Sometimes just the minutes.
A lot of times when I've leaned on John Morant, one way or the other, they're involved in a blowout. But this is just a really elite spot, really elite matchup. If we're just like foreshadowing ahead, John Morant got decent competition at the point guard spot today. Chris Paul exists against the Lakers, his old teammate, Dennis Schroeder, DeJounte Murray, night 2 of a back-to-back, maybe a bounce-back spot from a fantasy perspective. They have some decent usage guys already out. LMA's out. Jamal Murray in a fast-paced spot against the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, there's still pivots here. Trae Young, there's plenty of ways to go at the point guard spot. So, I don't want to accuse him of being uber chalk early on. It makes sense to assume as such, but there's at least enough names in the point guard pool where I could see him not being all or nothing chalk, right? Like, I don't think we're making drastic. Even Westbrook in the same game could be argued that you just raw point bully him out of the way. So, chat, what are you guys doing with this game before we matriculate on to the next one? Ben Slapper says, I'll choose Winslow over Bane. That's just me. I don't mind it. What's up, Tommy B? How many minutes we think Bogdan getting tonight? Let me revisit that in just a second. I think it's the Knicks. It's in a couple games. I want Butler to play, not rostering him though. Yeah, if Butler's out, think of how many people will gravitate towards like a Kendrick Nunn, a Goran Dragic, guys like that. Hey, Gun, got here late. What's up? Packing again to go to Europe on a mission? Let's go, Mr. Portugal. You out there living your best life. Respect it.
Go.
Morant fade, rather play CP3. But that the more y'all talk about my dog jaw, I want to fade. I like it's not for me. It's not the per minute performance that has me skeptical. It's more of the minutes. But don't get me wrong. There's no way. Like I want anyone to walk away from this thinking that Gun's not playing jaw. Gun's definitely gonna play jaw, but he's probably gonna be a tier 3 early on. Patty Mills can match Winslow Bane output tonight. Yeah, Monkey Mech, who's the best 3.5K sleeper for NBA. Let me attack those questions in a little bit. We're only on game 1. Westbrook projected a trip dub tonight. I mean, he's almost averaging a triple double, so that's not crazy. 9.8 assists, 9.9. Yeah. Let's move on to the next game. Clippers at the Boston Celtics. Project starting 5 for the Clippers. Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, Serge Ibaka taking on Kemba Walker. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Daniel Tyson, Tristan Thompson. Jaylen Brown does have a Q tag on him. I'll double check. What's that all about? We know Marcus Smart and Langford still out. If Brown can't go, it's a big bump for Kemba and Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown's dealing with a knee injury. He sat out Sunday's game, which resulted in Javonte Green getting the start. Although he didn't do much, blah, blah, blah. We'll have a better idea on Brown's status following tomorrow's shoot-around. Matter of fact, I forgot to lead with the Labs tweet. But Labs kept Jalen as questionable. Jimmy is questionable. LeBron probable. Kyle Anderson questionable. Elf doubtful. Bogdan probable. Keldon questionable. Kuzma probable. So a little bit of catch-up there. So if Jaylen Brown can't go, we know the numbers on Kemba and Tatum go up. The matchup itself is kind of perceptually tough. However, minutes and usage can compensate for the difference in points from this game versus like a Wizards game, right? Like the Wizards game has a projected 15, 25 more real points. But it's so spread out. It's diluted. If the Celtics thrive, you likely know it's going to be on the backs of 1, 2, 3. If Jaylen Brown's out. So it makes it a little bit easier to access. Kemba Walker's coming off a couple of really strong games for fantasy, sitting at around the 7K price point. So I definitely would have my eye on him should Brown be out. And on the Clippers side, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, I love looking at these guys. If you can put them in games that are projected to be competitive, it's a sub 5-point spread right now. And Paul George and Kawhi are both under 9K on DraftKings. And I do think there's a world where they can go 50 fantasy points apiece. Not the common median range of outcomes, but it's still a world where they can coincide for 100 fantasy points. So they're both in the mix. On FanDuel, Paul George is under 8K while Kawhi is almost 10K. So it's a nice little discrepancy, margin and price between the two. So it definitely makes both of them individually a little harder to combine. But Paul George under 8K, I'll take that. All day long, all day strong, almost regardless of the matchup. If we look at the last couple games for both George and Kawhi, they have played the Bucks, the Grizzlies twice, and Washington. Game 1 against the Grizzlies was a blowout. Game 2 was a blowout. They just traded spots. The Milwaukee, more competitive game where you saw Paul George play 38 minutes, just 36 FanDuel points, but 21 shot attempts, right? We'll take a shot on 20-plus shot attempts every day. And then Kawhi, he's a peripheral stat stuffing type of high-usage guy that if you put him in a competitive game, 37 minutes against Milwaukee, he dropped 45, and we know 50's in the wheelhouse. So Paul George and Kawhi both probably start in my player pool at around the tier 3. And I think on FanDuel, Paul George has a case to be promoted to a tier 2. Curious to see if we get to any other Clippers players from like the eye test here. I really don't have any reason to do that. But what are you thinking, Raj? And also, if Brown is out, and even if Brown was in, it seems like one of the Celtics centers, like a Daniel Tice, TT, or Robert Williams, just seem to be good plays from slate to slate. What's your thoughts and your approach on this game, or is this one of those low total defense games that you want to stay away from?
It really comes down to if Jaylen Brown plays or not. If Jaylen Brown doesn't play, I just see Kemba Brown, Tatum, Paul George, and Kawhi. They're all just priced really nicely on FanDuel where you can play them together and still get a nice team around them. You still have about 5K left. So don't hate that. I mean, it's concentrated usage to all four of those guys, 5-point spread. I can see all four of those guys all getting you 45 plus, close to 50. So great plays. Other guys on Boston, Dice had a big game, even though it was Washington, so probably not going back to him. Guys like Tristan Thompson, Robert Williams. I mean, I guess Tristan Thompson, if you see some minutes, could be intriguing as a cheap center if you want to pay down at center and not pay for Jokic or mid-tier J-Val. So that's an option, but on the Clipper side, it's just Kawhi and Paul George for me.
Yeah, so without Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart on the court, I got about 85 minutes of sample size. Kemba and Tatum both sustain a 30.4% usage rate. Not a lot of minutes on that little net, but if we elongate on that to last season, same scenario, minutes still not deep, but both sitting around 30% and a point per minute. So, yeah, I think if we put in these guys at 35-plus minutes in a competitive game, especially Jason Tatum, he's liable to play 38 minutes if it stays healthy. Yeah, 40-plus, 50-plus fantasy points, not out of the range of outcomes. Let's get caught up on chat. What up, Chronic? Shake. Yo, Chronic. Chronic, Raj said he's coming for you. He's going to win out, and you guys have to go to sudden death overtime.
It's just that time, baby. It's that time.
Davey says, would you play Westbrook or Bill? If that's a 1v1, I'd probably go Westbrook, but if the question is would I play either, yes, and I could play both. John just doesn't know if I'm drinking a Rainbow Unicorn Bang. Okay, buddy. Get them flavor palettes going. Is it crazy to think Bucks win by 15-plus tonight versus Denver? With Drew Holiday back, I think he solves a lot of the defensive letdowns for the Bucks here and there. So I don't think that's crazy, especially how shorthanded the Nuggets are in a back-to-back. I don't know if that's the game theory I'm going to slap on that game when making lineups, but I don't think it's a crazy thought because they are definitely a much more efficient machine, at least defensively, but offensively too. What's your projections for Beal and Westbrook today? Got you, Damien. Let's go to the player projections tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Scroll up to the tippy top here. Let's sort it by most DKP to least. By the way, if you guys are looking for a projection source for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo, we do have them in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Loading. Sort Z to A. Westbrook, I got him as the fourth highest scoring player on the slate with 50, and Bradley Beal is number 5. So I actually have them projected conservatively to be 2 of the top 5 scorers on the slate. So definitely makes sense to handcuff them, right? Correlation for a blanket over some 100 fantasy points. I'll take it. Mr. Portugal, why do I keep thinking if Jaylen Brown doesn't play that the Clippers going to blow out the Celtics? I don't know, man. Clippers, I don't know. I don't want to offend people, but I feel like at times the Clippers might be a little overrated. Sometimes they just come out full on flat. Like they got smacked by the Grizzlies, and then that was a wake-up call for them to come back the next day and step up. What's up, Lorenza? You doing all right? Hope we get that Vooch and Luka and my play Bojan. Yeah, Chronic got that Bojan. I think Tice is the play here. He's been getting the minutes and the fantasy points. I like that, Mr. OG. I watched Clippers versus Bucks, and PG missed a whole bunch of layups and close shots. He was also 2 for 10, I believe, from downtown. You got to expect him to correct and regress to the mean or progress to the mean eventually, right? Is it crazy to fade Giannis and Jokic in lineups? I don't think any of that is crazy because it's just 6-game slate. I think my approach to 6-game slates is just create. If you're a multi-entry guy, it's just creating different correlated player pool rules. If that makes sense, like If I like yesterday, if I wanted Luka, and we talked about it on the stream, Raj, there was no shot that the Magic keep that game at any type of close, unless Vucevic had a game, right? So it made sense to go into Optimizer and say, all right, Luka lineups increase Vucevic exposure. And if you did that yesterday, it puts you in the right spot. So game stacks, whatever it is, you just shuffle the deck. We all have the same similar projections, but now we have to put some purpose, some thought behind it, and try to make some more correlated lineups. And I think that's going to make batches stronger. Kind of like the football approach. We start running players back, right? Vooch at home is always the play in the future. I mean, okay. So Vooch, I think yesterday he averaged less fantasy points at home than on the road, but it was like both great. It wasn't like a home road split that I needed to know. It was more of the Magic don't have Aaron Gordon, Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, and it's sink or swim based on him. You know what I'm saying? PJ13 was playing a lot of point guard versus the Bucks. Yeah, I like that. Jaylen Brown's having a breakout season. First time All-Star. I drafted him with my 68th pick in the ESPN League. Insane value. Nice. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Atlanta Hawks at the Miami Heat. Project starting five for the Hawks. Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Tony Snell, John Collins, and Clint Capella up against Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G. Buckets, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo. So Jimmy Butler actually missed the last game for the Miami Heat, and that created a lot of instant interest in a couple of the secondary Miami players. Adebayo was the guy that bumped up in our numbers. None. Dragic, I think, was pretty trendy. And then Tyler Hero was in the mix. So if Jimmy Butler can't go today, I think we have to dive into those guys even stronger, because the Hawks defense is certainly a defense we want to exploit and pick on. Jimmy is dealing with right knee inflammation. He sat out Sunday with what Eric Spoelstra said was minor inflammation. I don't know why I did air quotes for that. Sharks with friggin' laser beams. Chances are the Heat will wait and see how he's feeling closer to game time, and not push him so close to the All-Star break. If Butler can't play, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic will fill his role. Nunn started on Sunday, scored 24 points. So Jimmy Butler, of course, has been on an incredible tear, and I think even if he played, you can make a case that a big stretch of his elite games in the last month have come in the absence of one or the other, Dragic, Tyler Hero, something like that. So maybe there's even a case that, you know, he doesn't get you that triple-double flirt game, but he's still probably going to lead this team in usage, perhaps still lead the team in minutes. Maybe Adebayo gets a little bit more. He's going against a really, really, really nice matchup in the Atlanta Hawks. So you guys know what to do if the Heat are full strength, but metrically, let's go pull up some numbers here and take off Jimmy Butler on the on-off court tool over Fantasy Labs, the free tool that they offer, and just straight up with nobody on, we take off Jimmy Butler. We got Adebayo at a 27% usage rate, and his assist percentage goes to 31%. That's 592 minutes. So Adebayo becomes a guy that can flirt with some triple doubles. And I do think in this matchup against the Atlanta Hawks, at sub 9K, you know, that's knocking on the door of those 9K guards. I think Adebayo could be one of the elite sharp pivots that we can justify pretty easily, all things considered. I think with Nunn, Dragic, and Tyler Hero, I hate to be lazy in analyzing this, but it's really a volatile spin the wheel, make a deal who gets really, really the best game of the bunch. I think Dragic has a strong case to PPM. I think Tyler Hero has a strong case. I think they're both priced cheap enough at 6 and 5.6 that you could throw them together. You might even make a case for Kendrick Nunn in that lineup too, against a soft matchup like the Atlanta Hawks, contingent on Jimmy being out. We've definitely seen Kendrick Nunn fall flat, but in that last game without Butler, 7 assists, 24 real points, 40-plus real points in a game against the Atlanta Hawks. So I don't mind really anything that you do with the Heat, right? I don't think there's a mathematically quantifiable right way to approach this game if Jimmy Butler's out. You just say, hey, 25, 30 minutes against the Atlanta Hawks, this could happen. But I think Adebayo kind of gravitates towards one of my favorites. I even took a prop bet that night of over 4.5 assists for Adebayo. He got 5. He made a sweat, but he definitely has a strong history without Butler. And he's dropped 40-plus fantasy points really as far as the eye can see last 9 games straight. You need that at 8,700, but that's a really nice floor to kind of live with, especially if you're playing cash games or, I don't know, in a head-to-head series against Chronic. Raj, what do you do with this game?
I mean, again, it comes down to Jimmy Butler news. If Jimmy's in, I think I'd like to just fade the Heat entirely.
No, you don't. You don't want to do that. That's dumb. It's the Atlanta
mean,
Hawks.
It is the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, they're bad defensively. They're playing at a slower pace. It seems like none is priced for Jimmy being out. You have Goran Dragic still seeing about 20 minutes. Tyler Hero's at 6K. I mean, I think they can. I think they can get like value. I just don't think anyone's smashing. Bam Adebayo 8-7 against Clint Capella. I'm not running to play. I think he can get you 40. I mean, he's been really consistent. 44, 45, 47, 44. 40. He's getting you mid-40s every game. I mean, if you're cool with that, that's fine. I just think maybe against Capella, the upside might not be there. I just think everyone's priced appropriately. The match is fine. Again, it's just a pricing. And the Atlanta side, you still have DeAndre Hunter still out. Cam Reddish is still out. Kevin Huerter 5-6. Kevin Huerter is going to play the minutes. I think he can get you mid-35s at a mid-5K price. Mm-hmm. Don't hate it. John Collins coming off of a big game against Miami. I mean, dropped 58 last time. I wonder how popular he'll be. I mean, at 6'8", a guy coming off a game where he dropped 58. It seems a little P.J. Washington-like, where you go right back to him after a big game. Might not be the best thing to do, but at 6'8" on DK, I think you probably have to have him in the pool. You don't want to miss that type of game from a guy who's in the 6K range.
I think I would probably really want Butler out for that, but yeah, Bogdan Bogdanović back in the mix here for the Atlanta Hawks. They've gone a really, really long stretch without him. I think it's
10 minutes.
Yeah, it's safe to be really, really cautious with his minute projection. So I'm not going to go overzealous, but he is bare bones min on DraftKings 3K. So if you want to take a stab at that, I don't think 20 is out of the range of outcomes in 15 minutes, but it's an extremely low glass ceiling in terms of minutes likely. Gallinari's 5K if you're looking for 30 on that one. Duncan Robinson, we discussed the validity or the viability of him being a play last time out. The Atlanta Hawks do cover the 3 better than most, kind of surprisingly. And then we also discussed Kevin Huerter against the Miami Heat. And I think this one might shock a lot of the casual fans, is that the Miami Heat give up amongst the most points via the three-pointer per game. I think that is kind of a catalyst of Bam Adebayo being such a strong defender in the paint. But the Miami Heat are giving up the second most points via the 3-ball. So if you look at this Hawks team, yeah, you could throw some missiles from Trae Young, but Kevin Huerter, enough minutes and 5, 8, 10 shot attempts from 3. Last game he took 9, only made 1, and he still hit value. If he's gonna get the green light, I think at 5-6 I could play some Huerter, and he's gotten us 30 plus 3 of his last 4. Miami has just 1 game. A lot of minutes in that game, but I like the thought process. I like the research behind it. And then, of course, we talked about John Collins benefiting, one, from Butler being down, but also from getting 20 shot attempts. So 6-8 on Collins is cheaper than we were paying for him last season. So I don't mind that. Is there any way you get the Capella? My thought is probably not, right? He's so close to Adebayo's price where with or without Jimmy, I probably just play Adebayo. But yeah. Is there any is there any way you find yourself being bullish or even just exposed to Capella? Because I can see myself just not even having him in the pool, and I don't know if that's a mistake.
It just seems like today at center, I'm going to play Jokic. I mean, Randall at power forward center I like.
He did drop.
Giannis.
He dropped almost 50 in that last game.
He did. I mean, him and Bam, they combined for 40. They combined for 96 fantasy points that game around there, and their combined price is 16,900 on DK. Mm-hmm. I mean, you take that.
I would, man. Am I sleeping on this game more?
It seems like it. Yeah, I mean, they caved. I think again, I think Miami's defense obviously more suspect without Jimmy.
Yeah.
With Jimmy back, I would assume some of these Atlanta numbers go down. But I think that's all really kind of it depends on what Jokic. Like Jokic and Giannis, I think could both drop dueling 75 runs, right? In that game. So if they do that, it kind of just takes away from
I think
that.
I'm not appreciating the minutes enough on the Hawks side, man. They're getting some really fat minutes. I mean, 37 for Collins in regulation, 41 for Kevin Herter. Yeah, Bogdan's back, but man, those minutes.
I think I gotta go back to Collins. I mean, he's gonna see Kelly O defense. Obviously, I don't expect a 58 again, but at 6'8", there's just so much upside at that price. If Jimmy's out again.
Yeah, especially if Jimmy's out. All right,
Yeah.
Sat, what are you guys doing on this one? What's up, Crispy? What's up, Mamba? We get caught up, man. You guys got the chat bumping. What's up, Gun? That Harden 80 bomb saved me. Attack the Washington versus Memphis game and add a stud, probably Joker. Yeah, that's a good approach. Smash that like button. Let's go, baby. Hit that like button. 50 plus. That's the goal. Precious Anchua. Can Nate McMillan turn it all around? So I guess there is a narrative that the Hawks do have a new coach. But wasn't the coach out for a while anyway? And like Nick McMillan was filling in, and they just ended up winning. They're like, you know what? Let's just go with this guy. We're winning with this guy. So it's a new coach, but it doesn't feel like it's like one of those massive storylines, or I don't know. But yeah, they do officially have a new head coach. Don't chase Precious. He did that in 12 minutes. Precious Achua. If no Butler, fire up none. I believe Butler is the de facto point guard if he's on the court. Yep. But remember, though, there's been a long stretch of no Hero, no Dragic, or one or the other. And if Butler's in, it could be as full strength as the Heat have looked in a long time. Des says, could this Miami-Atlanta stack be the game to stack low-key? For me, I feel like I'm disrespecting the Hawks just based on their minutes. I think I can compensate tougher matchups for higher minutes, and I think I'll have to allow myself to, like, even Capella, man. Capella got a decent chunk of minutes that I was like, yeah, the matchup's not great, but man, I don't know, 36 minutes, chip in a chair. Mark says, I accidentally left Precious in 3 of my lineups last time Bam was questionable. I got distracted by playing Warzone. Oh man, that's the worst. But you got lucky. That's like in baseball, sleeping through lock and your player's not starting, and then he gets like a pinch hit homer. Take it. F it. Next game, Spurs, Knicks. Spurs, night 2 of a back-to-back. Project starting 5 for the Knicks. Derrick Rose, Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Nerlens Noel taking on Dejounte Murray. Lonnie Walker, DeMar DeRozan, Trey Lyles, Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? 215.5 total. Elfrid Payton listed as doubtful. Taj Gibson, Mitchell Robinson both out, creating deeper minutes for that front court. And on the Spurs side, Keldon Johnson's questionable, but LaMarcus Aldridge out. Rudy Gay, Devin Vassell, and Derek White all out. And, of course, versus last night, LaMarcus Aldridge was in a game that went to extras, right, against the against the Nets. So that's going to open up 15 minutes of work from Aldridge. Maybe you pass it over to Luka, but a lot of Luka's minutes came with Aldridge on the court, so maybe you just elongate on Trey Lyles' minutes a little bit, which I think is viable, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe like a Drew Eubanks or somebody gets involved, but for the most part, I think we're just looking at this starting crew, and then if Keldon Johnson can play, he might be a really, really interesting click, because he might just straight up start, and then like him and DeRozan are stretching out here, and this game gets a little bit weird. But I definitely think you want to stay as big as you can against the Knicks front court. Low total, and we know the Knicks run at one of the slowest paces in the league. So I think there is some sharper points to be attacked in this game. Like I do think point guard against the San Antonio Spurs has been so fruitful. If we go look at that DVP chart and sort it from most fantasy points allowed to least in the point guard position, San Antonio is right behind the Atlanta Hawks. And if we put some, you just look at last night. And I don't think it's fair to use like Kyrie and Harden as an example in that one, but like SGA dropped 61. Eric Bledsoe dropped 39. Terry Rozier dropped 53. Like, there's some more medium names that are a little bit more comparable to Derrick Rose here. And I think Derrick Rose without Elfrid Payton has an opportunity to be another really solid mid-tier, mid-price play. 30-plus fantasy points is kind of the goal. We did see him play a ridiculous allotment of minutes 2 games ago against at home against the Indiana Pacers, 38. And then night 2 of a back-to-back, he went down to 32, but it was a 20-point blowout. If there's no Elfrid Payton, there's a case to be made that Thibodeau has 35 minutes on deck for Derrick Rose, and per minute, like, the matchup's pristine. So Derrick Rose, if he drops 40 at under 6K, you're probably going to want that at the end of the night. So Derrick Rose is definitely one of the guys I'm penciling down as a guy I need to make a strong decision on. Like, Raj, there's a case, like, I literally have to ask myself, do I tier 1 Derrick Rose in this spot?
I like Derrick Rose, 6-2 on FanDuel, tier 1.
I mean,
dude, he's like in the middle. He's in the middle. He's like between a tier 2 and a 1. Like, I'm not so confident where I want to lock him.
If I gave you a minute projection of 33 right now in this spot, knowing Derrick Rose's usage rate, his propensity to just be a good per minute player, if I gave you 33 minutes, and tier 1 doesn't mean I think he's the best player on the slate. Tier 1 means I think for his price, he's not going to miss, and he's going to just. Yeah. I want that to be part of my core.
It. Elfrid Payton's still doubtful. This is not a back-to-back. He's had a couple of days off. I like it. The minutes should be high there for him. I think him and Julius Randle want to pair those guys together. I think that's great terms. I mean, Randle, 50, 46, 57, 51, 49 the past 5 games. We're talking super consistent. I mean, he has had a run of elite matchups: Detroit, Indiana, Sacramento, Golden State, Minnesota. So I guess that's something to look at. But again, attacking this front court in San Antonio with Trey Lyles and Poto, I think that's 2 guys I'd like to target. So give me Randle, give me Derrick Rose. This screams Jonathan Murray bounced back in a sense. Like, he got there kind of in OT, saved him.
He definitely didn't get there, but it salvaged a disaster.
Salvaged, exactly. If Keldon Johnson doesn't play, I think I'll go right back to DeRozan. His minutes, 38, 42. He's taking the shots, 18, 21 since his dad's death. He's just playing a little different, you know, so being a little more aggressive. I think at 8-1, 50-point upside, I'll take it.
Jakob Poeltl, 5.8 on FanDuel, 6.1 on DraftKings. I think points per dollar, he might be one of my more sought-after plays tonight as well. Just kind of that mid-price guy that I feel like is going to get me a strong...
Our centers against New York with Noel and Randall.
We'll put some names and numbers on that query.
Off the bat, I would think they're good. Like, Noel, I would think is a positive defender.
Nah, Noel's more of a rim protector than anything. So per minute, Jeremy Grant 32 and 31, Sabonis 35, 37, Marvin Bagley 26, 23 over a point per minute, Draymond Green 45, 37, and Mason Plumlee 16, 21, Miles Turner 25, 34, Rashawn Holmes 20, 29, Cat 61, 32. So a little bit of a mixed bag of nuts. All those guys have a volatile archetype in terms of usage and role with the team. But if you're going to give me 32-ish minutes of Jakob Poeltl just per minute, I like his propensity and his viability to give me 30 fantasy points. I'm not calling for a slate break or anything like that, but he does do some stuff that I think benefits this matchup. Blocks and steals. I think people just don't think about Jakob Poeltl like that. Like, you just poo-pooed on him as a defender. I don't think he's that bad of an individual defender. 1, 3, 2, 4 blocks in his last 4 games, and that's just kind of what he does. We even saw a 4-block game against Golden State. We talk about this all the time when it comes to the Knicks, but the Knicks actually give up a decent chunk of blocks per game. If we go to that team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and go to blocks per game allowed and sort it from Z to A, most to least, the Knicks give up 5.6 blocks per game, which is 0.3 of a point lower than like the league leader. So like, they're up there. Like, it's just a matter of whatever. And if you think about the fact that they're that high, while having like the league's lowest pace. It's incredible. So I think there's a case for Pirtle. I think I'm more so enamored with him on FanDuel. Yeah, it would come at the expense of like a high-end center like a Jokic, but I still think you can make some fun lineups with using that 11K on FanDuel that you use for Jokic on guys like LeBron, on guys like Westbrook, Beals, Giannis Antetokounmpo, stuff like that. So I like Jakob Pirtle. I'm probably not going to waver from that too much. If Keldon Johnson doesn't play, we already know that LaMarcus Aldridge is out. I think Trey Lyles might have a deep minute projection. And I mean deep, like 35 minutes could be some filler role for him. Not like a play that I'm excited about. But just like you soak up that many minutes, hey, maybe you fall into 9 rebounds, a couple of steals, and a couple shots. So 4,200 could be a stocking stuffer play. If Keldon Johnson is in, is that just like an elite play? Like, no one's gonna play him? Like, do you think Keldon Johnson?
I think he's been out. I think some conditioning with Pop. I don't know if he's gonna give him the full 11 minutes. I can see Pop just giving him like 21 minutes.
I have him at 28, and I don't know. He's still a young blood. I don't think he's like somebody.
Yeah, I mean, 56. I don't mind. I think value guys on FanDuel, if Keldon Johnson's out, Lonnie Walker and Trey Lyles, I think are 2 elite value plays. Lonnie coming off a big game, played 37 minutes. I mean, even if he plays 31 or 29, 30 minutes, I mean, at that $4,200 price tag, I'll give me some of that. And Trey Lyles, the minutes with no LaMarcus Aldridge, I'd probably give him 30 minutes here. I think he can get it done for you. And I was going to say, Rose and Randall, I think might be a better combo than Ja Morant and J-Val.
That's not crazy.
Yeah, and obviously because their minutes are just more known with Thibodeau doing this thing. Yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked in tournament that those 2 guys kind of combine and outscore Morant and J-Val if Morant and J-Val don't get the minutes.
Sean says, I'm smashing these MLB slates 2 days in a row. Only put in one lineup. Let's go, Sean. Feeling great about my D-Rose Oladipo trade. F. Turner and Schroeder, they're so average for season long. Okay, Damian, let's go. Yeah, you did ask about that.
When the All-Star game comes. Do some lineup for spring break when the All-Star game ends.
Some spring training lineup, dude. That's a pretty degen thing, but
set up the spread, guys. Set up the bomb detector.
Like
for.
Yeah, no, I mean the baseball first is elite, but I'm saying for spring training, like rules aren't rules. So, like we've seen spots where like the Yankees or really any team where they're like, hey, can we have you send up another batter this inning? Like I know there's 3 outs, but we want to do 4 outs because we want this pitcher to get another batter. Like,
oh, that's a real thing.
For spring training, yeah, you're making your own rules. Like teams are deciding how many innings they play. Like it's kind of weird. So for DFS, that's like a nightmare because it's not actual rules. I don't think that's like impacted slates overly so far, but like for me, it is something that has happened. I think I remember last year the Phillies were facing the Yankees in spring training, and I want to say Velasquez got 3 outs. Vince Velasquez got 3 outs, and Joe Girardi was like, "Can we get one more bat for him?" And the Yankees were like, "All right." And they sent up Aaron Judge, and he like homered off of him. He's like, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that."
One of those.
Let's go back. Anyway. Maybe Lyles. Yeah, Trey could play 30 minutes. His floor is low. Definitely a low floor on Trey Lyles. But if you're just soaking up some cheap minutes, he could be access to just that. Kind of like a PJ Dozier from last night, right? If I play Randall, I have to sacrifice playing Giannis. Is it worth it? I mean, that's really just in context of what you think could happen, right? Like right now, you could see Julius Randle drop 50. Do you think Giannis drops 60 or less? Do you think you can make up that 10 points with the remaining salary? It's really just is what it is. I hate having to answer single lineup questions with my tainted multi-entry line mind. But yeah, I think it's really just all a matter of salary.
Gotta ask Russ for the single entry fire.
Russ is a maniac, dude. The thing about my favorite thing about Russ is he's a single lineup guy, but he just sprays it multiple times everywhere.
Yeah. That's what you
Like,
want.
oh, it's
And you just want
150
to
max.
bitch
All
those
right, here's 150 the same lineup. Got you.
Yep. And it hits. That's the crazy thing. It hits.
So dumb.
Yeah, it
Denver
works.
Nuggets at the Bucks. Next game on the docket: Jamal Murray, Monte Morris, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., and Nikola Jokic taking on Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. We got a 235 total, 8-point spread in favor of the home team. Milwaukee Bucks, Nuggets catching night 2 of a back-to-back up against a full-strength home team. Bucks, Drew Holiday in the mix here. This is the Bucks team, right? This is their championship team. What they're putting out there today, catching the Nuggets here. You would think that they win. 8-point spread kind of gives some wiggle room for maybe a little lopsided game. The Nuggets are very, very short. No Campazzo, no JaMychal Green, no R.J. Hampton, Gary Harris, Paul Millsap. There's not like one elite guy that's out, but that represents a lot of minutes, and maybe some fatigue is on deck for some of these guys. We got Murray, Jokic playing 37, 38 minutes, and high minutes for the middle of the lineup too. This one really is you attack this game really based on what you think the end result is, and I think for DFS or for multi-entry with such a high total, I'm going to have batches of correlated lineups that have Jokic, that have some Murray, and then I do like Michael Porter in faster paced matchups. Although I think Giannis will destroy him. Normally, that would make me worry about Mike Malone benching Porter for defensive reasons, but there's no next man up. Like you can't bench him for JaMychal Green.
You think Porter guards him? Anybody else? I don't think they'd want to put Porter on Giannis or Giannis on Porter.
We can get like Bol to come in and foul.
Someone,
right?
like foul somebody.
But it's I think they had to stick with him. So on the Bucks side, Giannis Antetokounmpo is just Mr. 60-plus fantasy points. I got him at 60 on the nose right now for DraftKings. Middleton maybe takes a little bit of a step back. His assist rate goes down a little bit with Drew Holiday back in the mix. But chip it a chair, 7.4, 8.3. Like, no one's really going to play Middleton and Holiday today at those prices. Mm-hmm. And just because of the ownership, that might make him worth a shot, because there's still a decent total attached to this game. And maybe a low own, like a 15% or less owned 45 fantasy points from one of the two. I don't think that's crazy. What are you doing with this one?
So, I mean, this is just a Jokic spot. I think Jamal Murray with Drew Holiday back is going to see some Drew Holiday defense. Slows him down a little bit. This is going to be the Jokic show. Another 75 bomb. If you want to start every lineup with Jokic and Giannis, it's going to be a duel between those two guys. Don't hate it. Still have enough salary to play some of these value guys on Memphis and the San Antonio value guys. So give me Giannis, give me Jokic. Porter, I'm a little worried about, but it's a place where it's either he's going to get you, 40 DK 35, or he's going to get you 12 because he has foul trouble. Mm-hmm. So I think in tournaments he's viable. In single entry, you probably don't get a ton of him. Other than that, I'm not really looking at any of the other peripherals on Milwaukee. No, with Drew Holiday back, I'm not looking at a Dante DiVincenzo or Bobby Portis or anything like that. On Denver, I think Will Barton is intriguing. With his price, there's some upside there. 5,400 on DK could get you 30 DKP there in this matchup, this pace. Give me Will Barton. And I mean, PJ Dozier let everyone down yesterday. You go right back to him if you see 20 minutes in this matchup. Maybe he can get you there. So if you want to go back to him, forget what he did last game. I don't hate it. It's just a straight.
It was not great last night. PJ Dozier was one of the highest owned players on the slate last night on DraftKings, especially in high dollar stuff. And it got ugly. 11 and a quarter in 18 minutes. And I think that's one of the people expected more than 18 minutes with no Campazzo and no hair, like none of those guards. It really wasn't beneficiary of those minutes. And it was just like a lot more of the starters. So we're gonna pull up that popcorn machine from last night. Maybe on night two of back-to-back things changed, but Isaiah Hartenstein got early run. He's a big PJ Dozier. Vlatko Kankar was the guy that played 20 minutes, so he might be like the sharpest knife in the drawer if you really want to get crazy. And he got 16.
I really like Will Barton, just because I think Murray will struggle a little bit with Drew Holiday defense, so I'll probably have a lot of Will Barton there.
That's fair. Just big minutes for those guys. So I think Barton, Murray, all these guys make a lot of sense. Like, you feel like not all of them are going to get there, like Murray, Barton, Porter. There's no way they all hit unless Jokic is just not a thing. But because of what you likely need against the Bucks, and that's guys that are going to chuck threes, I think Barton, Murray, two guys that can that will have to resort to pulling up. And we saw 8 3 attempts last night from Jamal. We saw 4 from Barton. Barton's not really hitting at a ridiculous clip so far this season. He's not got a high quantity either. And Michael Porter Jr., if we check out his 3-point attempts, 4 8. So it's been kind of spread out. So I think getting to 2 or 3 is fair, but more than likely most of my lineups will feature just like one of the guard forwards. And then Jokic is the question, right? Jokic 10, 11, 10, 8. Maybe we resort to the stat beast mobile. Nikola Jokic DKP by game log versus Bucks. Let's go last 10 games. 62 on February 8th. Outside of that, it's all under 44 since 2018, but only 2 games in the last 2 seasons, and the most recent being last month, where he had 39 minutes, 35 points, 12 rebounds. So normally I think I can, if one of the most expensive players on the slate is on night 2 of a back-to-back against the Milwaukee Bucks as 8-point road dogs, and the Bucks have been really one of the tougher matchups for centers in terms of fantasy efficiency. I think, like, do I just cut out Jokic here? I don't think I want to spend up on Jokic. Like, do you ever play Jokic over Giannis heads up today? Like, it just seems like worst case scenario is Giannis scores the same. Best case scenario is Giannis scores more, right? Like, how often does Jokic just straight up outscore Giannis?
Yeah, I mean,
I get the idea of playing them both, but can you really play them both and love your lineup on DraftKings?
FanDuel, DraftKings.
On FanDuel, you could always play 3 studs, but on DraftKings, can you? Jokic and Giannis gives you 47 per. I mean,
the value's not there to get it done. You can only play one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'll probably go Giannis over Jokic, but it's close. It's not. I mean, usually Giannis snap call. This one's closer.
For me,
last
it's not,
game, Giannis only dropped 47
against Denver.
Yeah.
47, 34 minutes, 11 for 23.
And Jokic dropped a 62 burger.
I think I'd take the floor with Giannis, but yeah. Like, there's no right or wrong answer, chat. Like, I don't think, like, if you like Jokic more than Giannis, go for it. But
it's a back-to-back for Denver.
It is a back-to-back. And they're just playing so many minutes. Like, it's got to catch up, you would think. I don't know. Is this, by the way, check out Jokic's run here. It's a back-to-back, and it's at a 3rd and 4 nights. 27, 28, first. Yeah. So back-to-back and a 3rd and 4. So it's
that's a little worse.
Catching the Bucks is that's a tough spot, especially with Drew Holiday back in the mix here. Let's see what you guys got in the live chat. Bandit says Winslow captain. Is there a showdown for that game? Sure. I mean, I guess if you put Winslow in the captain spot, that'll give you every stud. Jav, J-Val, Westbrook, Beal, perhaps. I don't know if it'll give you all of them, but it'll probably give you most of them. Monte Morris value play today. I don't think that's crazy. You're going to get deeper minutes, faster pace, more opportunities. It's fine. Encore says personally fading Jokic. Jokic is an easy fade. I had him locked yesterday. Bro, I made a lineup on Yahoo with Jokic and Giannis. It looks lovely. I didn't even look at the Yahoo player pool, but we do have the Yahoo projections in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. So when it comes to top value plays, a lot of times we look at the Yahoo salary and just like, whoa, this guy's free over there, and I got to pay this on FanDuel or DraftKings. Who are some of the top Yahoo value plays? Once this gets done sorting, Trey Lyles is min price on Yahoo. Brook Lopez is down there. Any crazy names down here? Really not any crazy. I guess Winslow. There's no crazy. Nerlens Noel is $18. Is $8 above? I don't know. I don't see any crazy names down there, but I'm with that. Holiday low minutes though. He's not. Holiday low minutes though, so he's not even in it really. I got about 24 minutes. I'm not going to play Drew Holiday. Absolutely not. But
Yeah, pass on that one.
which it would be a bump for Jamal Murray. I think Murray is. This has to be a spot for Murray to thrive. And I got 38 minutes on him. If I told you right now for sure, you're getting 38 minutes of Murray in one of the fastest paced matchups where he has to go off. Is that tier 2 eligible?
Again, the Drew Holiday defense, the other guards on the slate. I might get to know Jamal Murray today, and I'll be okay with it.
I think that might be a mistake.
Could be.
Let me check out the history here of Jamal. Okay, Jamal. He's not great either. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's move on to the next game. Phoenix Suns at the Los Angeles Lakers. But hold on. We got to take a pause for the cause. Let you guys know. After the stream, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. About 15 minutes. If you guys want to voice chat with us, you can do so by going to RunDFS.com. Make yourself an account. Get signed up. Click the onboarding thread. You'll get a link to the spreadsheet, a link to my projections, my player pool, DVP, easy to read, easy to navigate, tabs to expedite your daily research process, and then you'll get access to the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord, or really just the RunDFS.com Discord. We got cats in here. We got cats in here sweating everything. They play hockey, they play tennis, Smeezy's been crushing at NASCAR. I think Smeezy told me he hasn't made a NASCAR lineup yet that hasn't cast with the VIP projections, so that's insane. So if you guys want to broaden your horizon a little bit, I got to make a roll. I got to make the 100K or better club. We talked about Russ Miller. He banked the 100K on Saturday, but he joins a little handful of guys that have also achieved that accomplishment. Right? Jake has done it. Dean has done it. Always be placing hit the millionaire maker in December. So there's a lot of big winners here. So I gotta kind of make a Letterman's jacket club of just
I like that. Yeah.
6 digits.
6 figures one night.
Yeah,
Yep.
6 figures.
Gotta put a gold star on the 7-figure one.
yeah. You in the millie maker. Yeah, he's got.
Yeah, you got a little something.
But right after the stream, we'll be in the NBA voice chat. If you guys are shy, you can just listen in. It's a little entertaining. Nice little fraternal research sesh. But if you want to grab a mic, make some new friends in DFS space, we'd love to have you. RunDFS.com. Also, if you want to check out PrizePicks, real quick, PrizePicks.com. If you guys want to prop bet parlay style on players' individual performances today, you can do so by going to PrizePicks.com. They are a partner of the stream. So if you guys sign up and use code GUNDACKER, you'll actually get an instant deposit bonus offer. Not even offer, you'll get an instant deposit bonus, meaning if you deposit $10, you'll have $20 to play with, and you can deposit up to $100, and you'll get $200 to play with, and it's an instant credit. You don't have to play through it. You don't deposit $50 and then have to play $500 to get $10 back or whatever scams out there. They're going to hook you up right away. So if you're looking for a cool way to diversify your daily DFS spend and also better reward your day-to-day research, your matchup research, I definitely love PrizePicks.com. Code GUNDACKER when you sign up, and make some fun parlay cards. You could bet on fantasy points, points, rebounds, assists individually, and then they have multiple sports you can bet on. I've seen tennis, I've seen NASCAR, I've seen college sports on there, and you can put different sport parlay cards together. So go check that out. We'd love to see you in the Discord, and love to see you on PrizePicks, shooting them screenshots. Let's get back to the live chat. By the way, chat, can we get those likes up? Huh? If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, and you want to hit the 6-figure club tonight, I do believe it's been scientifically proven. If you click that thumbs up, your chance is exponentially greater to do so. Gary Sanchez looking good tonight, yes sir. Robin Kahn says Texas 100% open after the 10th will be NBA teams open up as well fully.
Y'all got your mask up. No more masks in Texas.
Yeah, I will still be wearing my mask, but I don't really go anywhere, so it's whatever. But I mean, I don't know. A bunch of rednecks down here, they don't care. We don't care about the Rona. No, I don't know. They lift the restriction, but like if I log on Facebook, there's not one person that looks happy about it. Like was masks really the issue? Like I don't care about a bandana over my face. Opening the state though, like if you say we're opening up movie theaters or whatever, but you still have to wear your mask. Cool. All right. I don't know. I'm chilling though. I'm staying at the house. What's up, Mopar? Any day's better than a day that you lineup optimizer spits out Bismack. That's tough. I agree. Lower Morant should play some Rose up. Is San Antonio open more to fans yet? I don't know. I think only 50% of the league has fans allowed, but I think you're going to see a lot of sports allow fans. I think the Yankees are set up to allow fans on opening day. I think because now the Nets opened up, so. The world is definitely opening up as the vaccine just kind of spreads a little bit, but I don't know timelines. I'm very bad at keeping up with all that. Main event tonight, Phoenix Suns at the Los Angeles Lakers. Project starting 5 for the Suns. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Frank Kaminsky, DeAndre Ayton taking on Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, LeBron James, Markieff Morris, and Marc Gasol. We got 214.5 total. 1.5 point spread in favor of the home team of LA Lakers. Can I just say I would probably bet the Suns here? I'm just saying. Okay. Like I thought the Cavs over the Rockets. The Lakers are favored over the Suns. Yeah, okay. Chris Paul head to head with his old teammate Dennis Schroeder. That should be fun. Devin Booker coming off another strong game. 8K 8100. He seems like an elite lead player, right? Like think of how many people will just go to Ja and all the other guards. Devin Booker could just be right there, putting up 30, 40 real points. DeAndre Ayton, I'm less bullish on. It's really just Paul Booker for me. Mikal Bridges gets to put that defense to the test against LeBron, right? A lot of people hyping up how locked down he is defensively. I think if you believe that, like you gotta bet the Suns money line
tonight. We're gonna see tonight.
On the Lakers side, if you want to hinder LeBron just a little bit. There's really not a matchup I love, right? The Suns are just a stout defense. They run a slow pace. It's going to be one of the lower scoring games of the night. How many Lakers games in the last week or so have you seen less than 100 points on one of the two teams? And the same with the Suns. Their defense just kind of suffocates you. So it's not a game that I just want to go crazy on. But I will say if it stays close, Chris Paul could obliterate what Ja Morant scores, right? 7,500, like essentially the same price range. Chris Paul has 50 fantasy point potential in neutral games, the games that are competitive. There's a lot of games where it just gets lopsided and it doesn't come to fruition. But if you look at some of the games where he's able to get 35 minutes, even 32 minutes, like would take 40, right? At 7,500, 6-game slate, 32 minutes in a blowout against the Timberwolves, 15 assists against Chicago, dropped 50, 38 minutes against Charlotte, dropped 50. And these other games with the 20s and 29s, these are laughers, 25-minute blowout, 22-minute blowout against Memphis. Games that are competitive, Chris Paul is one of the best point guards on the slate, just per minute. So I think at 7,500, if you're looking for a late night hammer that seems to have the highest floor and range of outcome to overperform his salary, is it not Chris Paul?
I mean, yeah, I think, like you mentioned, I think he might have more upside than Ja Morant.
That's fair.
I think the Lakers defense obviously isn't as great without AD. The pace is obviously in Morant's favor, but I think the usage in minutes is more on Chris Paul's side. So, I mean, I like Chris Paul, 7,500. Pivot off of Chalky Morant, great turn play. And it's the last game of the slate. He's going to come in super low owned. Just give me some Chris Paul. Give me LeBron James. Again, close game. I think he's going to see his full allotment of minutes here. 36-minute LeBron James with no AD. He can be the highest score. I wonder what his ownership will be. Like Giannis, Jokic. I think when I first look at it, you're like, okay, I want to play those guys over LeBron. But then if AD was ruled out at 6 o'clock, I think everyone would just jump to LeBron. And AD's been out, Shooter's back. So I think this game stays
at
close.
11K, I don't.
I get it, but I think I still want some LeBron. I wouldn't be shocked if he's the highest score this slate. LeBron, Chris Paul, you mentioned Booker, and probably Schroeder. Again, Schroeder's second guy on this team. I think close games he can have a big game too.
Schroeder's the guy that's at least interesting to me from a points per dollar standpoint. I think there's a world where I don't have a single Laker tonight.
I get it.
But it could be a mistake. I think you're overlooking LeBron a little bit.
I could be. 11K LeBron? How often does 11K LeBron
No Anthony
get
Davis?
there? No, it's no Anthony Davis for effing the whole season at this point.
Yeah, but in close games. So, like, Portland, close game. They got blown out of Utah. They blew out Golden State. Close game in Washington. Like, in a close game, I think he's 60+.
He needs it. What? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm
why
saying.
would I do, like the risk reward for LeBron? First of all, these 60+s that you're looking in this game log, it's the Washington Wizards, the Portland Trailblazers, a bunch of OT games against G Leaguers. The Suns ain't that, man. They're just not. I think if LeBron doesn't get to 60, you're dead and stinking, bro. That's Giannis Antetokounmpo money. That's just that the opportunity is like, no, I'm not doing it. Not gonna do it. Looking this way, any LeBron that was a thing is just Giannis for me. Like I can't do it. I can't do it. Nope. I'm Tracy Morgan. I think I'm full.
Yeah.
Give me Paul. That's it. Give me Paul. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe Booker, but mostly Paul. Chat. Are you with me? Are you against me? Am I gonna doubt the MVP LeBron James tonight when he has triple double, 50 real points? I don't know. I just think he's too expensive.
I mean, looking at Jokic and Giannis' spots, LeBron, it's going to be hard to get to. I mean, he probably only outscores both those guys 20% of the time. So
you think there's a 20% range of outcome where LeBron is a better play raw points than a Giannis and Jokic?
Yeah.
I think that's too high. What?
That's too high.
I think maybe 10%. Jokic is whatever, but just LeBron versus Giannis right now. I don't know. I guess the caveat would be if the Bucks blew out, and then whatever. Let's see what you guys got in the chat. LeBron will get some look on CP3. Yep. If situations like this with the Lakers, this is why I feel KD is the better player. LeBron cannot be the GOAT. Oh no, let's not get that one going.
LeBron the GOAT. Great.
We ain't got time for that barbershop debate. MJ. Dude, the Lakers D's harbor without AD is definitely a little bit more susceptible to playing down to opponents, and it's just like the Lakers have not just been great without Anthony Davis, and we've seen some of the most scrubby teams go into LA and win, or even take them to overtime, and it is what it is. My dang optimizer keeps giving me Robin Lopez. Oh no, I will take Kawhi over the King. Probably today I would too. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be spots where I'm right back on LeBron, but this is a hefty price in like the worst matchup possible for a low total, low pace game at that. Like even if it was like whatever, like we're talking two of the slowest. They got to be. I think the Knicks might be the only team I can think of off the top of my head that are, and maybe the Utah Jazz are really slower than these two. Phoenix is number 2. The Lakers are bottom. Okay, so Detroit, Cleveland, Clippers. I just don't. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Russ says, Raj, Chronic is going to clean your clock tonight if you play LeBron at that price.
I'm not going to play LeBron the same week. I'm not. Come on, I'll stop this. I'm not going to play LeBron against Chronic in that 1v1. That's a nightmare.
Oh, man, no pressure. But if you lose tonight, you're done.
Oh, man.
You're smoked.
But no, hey, baby. We're clutch, baby. That's what we made for.
That's a fun series. We're going to make more head-to-head series.
Yep.
Just track it on the streams. This whole game is a real trap. This game, I don't want to play this game. I'm playing some CP3 for sure. How's LeBron James done versus the Suns gun? I don't think that's a fair query because this Suns team is better than they've ever been. Maybe even better than the Barkley teams. Steve Nash in the mix. I don't know. But if you want, just for the heck of it, we'll query the DKP by game log versus Suns last 10 games. I really don't think this is fair at all, though. Last game was 40, and that was last season in February. Prior to that, January 73. But that's a different Suns team. I don't think that we can do that. Like we're talking Kelly Oubre, no Chris Paul. Those in inceptions of the team. So, Yeah, might sound crazy, but I definitely like Keefe tonight. Revenge game for Markieff Morris. He takes games against Phoenix personal. Okay. LeBron can't make a free throw to save your life. Oof, I definitely would not want. Imagine you had to make like a. What's that? The Martians invade Earth, and you want one guy to make the shot to save the Earth. and it was a Kellerman said Andre Iguodala. Imagine that was like one guy to make a free throw, but you can only choose between like Shaq, LeBron, DeAndre Jordan. It'd be terrible. LeBron is the GOAT to tie with Jordan. Okay, we're not doing the LeBron MJ debate today, boys. All right, so any lasting questions, comments, concerns? I got to get in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. Throw them at me in chat now. Otherwise, Twitter.com/Gundackers, how you guys can reach out with me. I might be on Twitch later playing some more Fortnite. I had a lot of fun last night. And, yeah, that's it, right? Oh, and then we've got the Cold Cats Challenge on Top Shot expiring soon. So check that out if you want. That's it. Rod's hot take before we get out of here.
Derrick Rose and Randall combined for 100 fantasy points.
Dude, Top Shot just went down for maintenance. I will be so salty if they postpone that challenge. I'm just bleeding money on this effing challenge. Rose and Randall, 100 fantasy points. Okay. I don't know if I got Chris Paul as the highest scoring point guard. Maybe Westbrook outscores him. That's my hottie. All right, chat. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Same gun time, same gun channel. I believe we're going to shoot for 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central NBA schedule. If you guys are heading off into the media lands to go check out some other shows, be sure to hit that thumbs up as you leave. Yeah, we got a big slate tomorrow. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 games tomorrow. I'm sure a couple of these might get scratched for COVID, but yeah, 10 games tomorrow. So 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. That's where we're going to go with. I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, getting it in. You guys are more than welcome to come join and hang out for that one. Otherwise, we'll be here tomorrow on the channel. I hope you guys crushed it tonight. Thank you for making part of my day, be part of your day. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.